Man, one of the most fascinating things I've ever looked into is the whole idea of fasting. And not just the trendy, intermittent fasting that's all over fitness blogs right now, but the way fasting has been practiced for thousands of years in spiritual traditions. And when you dive into Ramadan, the Islamic month of fasting, you start to realize this is not just some cultural ritual. It's one of the most profound, disciplined, and spiritually charged practices that human beings engage in. I mean, think about it. For one whole month, Muslims all over the world, like literally billions of people, wake up before the sun rises, eat a little meal, and then they don't touch food, they don't drink water, nothing until the sun sets every single day for nearly 30 days. That's wild. No snacks, no water bottles, no quick coffee runs, just pure discipline. And here's what's really crazy. We're living in a time where science is just starting to catch up to what this tradition has been doing for over 40. You hear doctors and researchers now talking about intermittent fasting, autophagy, metabolic health. Meanwhile, Muslims have been living that reality every year, like clockwork. Now, when you think about it from a physiological standpoint, fasting is one of the most powerful tools for human health. You give your digestive system a break, your insulin levels reset, your body shifts from burning glucose to burning fat, and suddenly you're producing ketones, which are like high-octane fuel for the brain. Your body enters autophagy, this deep cleaning process where it literally starts repairing and recycling damaged cells. It's like your body says, all right, no food is coming in, so let's fix what we've got. And that's powerful. That's healing. But here's the thing, in Ramadan, fasting isn't just about health. It's about the soul. That's what really separates it from any other kind of fasting. You're not just doing it for the six-pack or the mental clarity. You're doing it because you're training yourself spiritually. You're disciplining your desires. You're saying, no, I'm not going to eat, not going to drink, not going to indulge because I want to be closer to God. And that intention changes everything. It's wild when you think about how hardwired we are for constant gratification. You're hungry, order food in 10 minutes. You're bored, scroll on your phone. You're stressed, drink a beer. We've built a world where you never really have to wait for anything. But Ramadan flips that whole script. It's like, hey, guess what? You're going to wait. You're going to control yourself. You're going to feel hunger, thirst, fatigue, and you're going to embrace it. That's powerful because it builds something most people don't even realize they're missing: self-mastery. And when I talk to Muslims who fast during Ramadan, what really amazes me is how they describe the shift that happens after those first couple of days. At first, sure, it's tough. Your body's craving coffee, your stomach's growling, you feel a little cranky, but then something clicks. Your body adapts. Suddenly your mind gets sharper, your senses feel heightened, you become more patient, you realize you're stronger than your cravings, and man, that's liberating. And it's not just individual, it's collective. That's another thing that makes Ramadan so unique. Imagine billions of people all over the planet going through the same discipline at the exact same time. When the sun sets, families gather around the table, neighbors invite each other over, mosques open their doors to feed the hungry. That kind of unity is rare in today's world. We live in such a divided, individualistic culture. But Ramadan creates this sense of global togetherness, everyone sharing in the same struggle, the same joy, the same gratitude. And speaking of gratitude, that's maybe one of the most beautiful parts of fast, because think about it. When's the last time you were truly grateful for a sip of water, for a piece of bread? Most of us take those things completely for granted. But when you've gone 14 hours without a drink, and then you break your fast with that first cool sip, it feels like the greatest blessing in the world. Suddenly you don't need fancy meals or expensive stuff. You're just grateful for the basics. And gratitude, man, that's one of the most powerful forces for happiness. But Ramadan also has this built-in empathy factor. When you're hungry and thirsty all day, you get a taste, just a tiny taste, of what millions of people around the world go through every day without choice. It makes you more compassionate. It makes you want to give. That's why charity is such a big part of Ramadan. Muslims are encouraged to share, to donate, to feed others. And that's such a beautiful cycle. You deny yourself so that you can appreciate what you have, and then you give to those who don't. That's a recipe for real human connection. So when you put it all together, Ramadan is this multi-dimensional reset. It's physical, it heals your body, it's mental, it sharpens your mind, it's emotional, it builds patience and gratitude, and it's spiritual. It brings you closer to God and closer to people. And man, that's something we could all learn from, regardless of what faith you follow. You know what really blows my mind, man? The more I learn about fasting in Ramadan, the more I realize it's not just a ritual. It's like this full spectrum system designed for human beings at every level. It's almost like it was built with an intimate understanding of how our minds and bodies function. Because when you strip it all down, fasting isn't just about denying yourself, it's about reconnecting yourself. And let's talk science for a second. We've already seen the studies on intermittent fasting. People improve insulin sensitivity, drop inflammation, even reduce risks of things like heart disease and Alzheimer's. But with Ramadan fasting, there's another level, no water. That's what researchers call dry fasting. And it turns out it forces the body into an even deeper state of efficiency. When there's no water intake, your body starts pulling water from within itself, recycling fluids, metabolizing fat in a way that actually creates water internally. That's why your body literally becomes self-sustaining for a while. And it makes sense. Our ancestors didn't always have food or water available. We're built to survive. Ramadan taps into that primal resilience. But then you pair that with the spiritual side. And man, that's where it gets powerful. Because think about it, you're hungry, you're thirsty, but you still go about your day. You work, you pray, you're patient with people, you try not to get angry, you hold back from gossip. That's like discipline on steroids. It's not just willpower in one area. It's a total system of restraint and self-mastery. And if you can do that for 30 days straight, imagine how it shapes you for the rest of the year. And I think that's the genius of it. Ramadan is a reset button. People go into it with all their bad habits, overeating, smoking, wasting time, and suddenly you're forced to break the cycle. You're forced to change. And when you come out of Ramadan, ideally you carry some of those changes with you. You eat more mindfully, you pray more consistently, you give more generously. It's like a training camp for life. Now here's something else, the mental toughness it builds. We live in this culture where people crumble at the slightest discomfort. Hungry? I need a snack. Tired? I need caffeine. Stressed? I need a drink. But Ramadan teaches you that you can actually go through struggle, real hunger, real thirst, and you'll be fine. In fact, you'll be stronger. That's huge, because life is going to throw challenges at you. And if you've trained your mind and body to handle difficulty with patience, you're going to be way more resilient. I've talked to athletes who fast during Ramadan, and they say it actually makes them sharper. At first, it feels tough. Training without food and water during the day sounds insane. But your body adapts. You learn to schedule your workouts after sunset or before sunrise. And mentally, you get tougher. You start realizing, if I can push through this, I can push through anything. That's the warrior mindset. And that's why I think fasting is not just spiritual, it's practical. And then there's the community aspect again. I keep coming back to that because it's so rare in today's world. You know, people are so isolated now, glued to their phones, scrolling endlessly, disconnected from neighbors. But Ramadan brings people together. It's not just about your individual fast, it's about breaking bread together, literally. Families come together every night. Mosques feed hundreds of people. Even strangers come together just to share a date and some water at sunset. So that's something we've lost in our modern society, man. We've lost ritual, we've lost community. Ramadan brings it back in the most powerful way. Now here's another angle. Ramadan forces you to confront your relationship with desire. And that's something all of us, Muslim or not, could learn from. Because we live in a world of endless craving. Everything is designed to make you want more food, more entertainment, more sex, more money, and it never ends. But Ramadan is like this giant pause button. It's saying, hey, slow down, control your urge. You don't need to be a slave to your cravings. That's liberating, man, because real freedom isn't doing whatever you want whenever you want. It's having the discipline to say no. And here's the kicker. When you strip away those cravings, you find space for something higher. That's the whole point of Ramadan. You're not just emptying yourself, you're filling yourself with prayer, with charity, with gratitude, with God. And that's where the real transformation happens. You start realizing that life isn't just about feeding the body, it's about feeding the soul. And honestly, man, that's something we desperately need in the modern world. We've optimized everything for comfort, but in the process, we've lost meaning. Ramadan brings meaning back. It's a reminder that struggle can be sacred, hunger can be holy, discipline can be beautiful. So whether you're Muslim or not, there's something to learn here. You don't have to fast for 30 days straight, but try going without food for a day. Try shutting off the constant stimulation. Try sitting with your discomfort instead of running from it. You'll realize you're stronger than you think. You'll realize you don't need half the stuff you thought you did. And you might even find a little bit of that mental clarity, that peace, that gratitude that billions of Muslims tap into every Ramadan. At the end of the day, Ramadan is about becoming a better version of yourself, physically, mentally, spiritually. It's about discipline, gratitude, empathy, and connection. And when you look at it that way, man, you realize this isn't just a religious ritual, it's a human ritual. It's a blueprint for how to live with purpose, resilience, and compassion. And that's the power of fasting during Ramadan.